Thank you for joining me here this evening. I'm here to provide a brief statement and answer whatever questions I can in regard to the officer-involved shooting that occurred this afternoon. Following standard procedures in an officer-involved shooting, the investigation is now being conducted by the Alberta Serious Incident Response Team, also known as ASIRT. To respect the integrity of the ongoing investigation, I will share with you the events leading up to the shooting. I will leave it to the discretion of ASIRT to speak to the investigation surrounding the shooting itself. At approximately 3 p.m. today, officers responded to a call from staff at a hotel in the 3000 block of Barlow Trail N.E. for reports of a man behaving strangely inside the hotel. When officers arrived on scene, they approached the room. They were unable to enter due to a locking mechanism, but were able to see that the man appeared to be agitated and in medical distress. Due to exigent circumstances, they took action to enter his room in order to provide him with assistance. Upon entry, they were confronted with a high-risk situation. A less lethal use of force was deployed, which did not subdue the man. The situation escalated, and as a result of his actions, a service firearm was discharged. The man died at the scene. Although I am limited as to what I can say, I will answer any questions that I can.
Can we get the names and the experience of the officers involved in this incident?
I won't release the names of our officers at this time. The officer involved has 3 years experience with the Calgary Police Service and an additional 20 years policing with other agencies.
Do you know how many shots were fired?
That will form part of the investigation, and ASIRT may be able to speak to that at a later date.
Can we say multiple then?
Again, that would form part of the investigation, and it would be irresponsible for me to answer that.
You talked about the form that was used and it didn't work. Can you give any details as to what was used that he didn't respond to?
Again, that will form part of the investigation. I apologize, I can't answer that at this time. ASIRT may be able to provide those details at a later date.
Is there anything you can tell us about how serious a risk it was the officers were determining to find themselves in when they got there? Can you talk anything about that? Or?
I would describe the officers felt it was exigent, therefore they entered the room. Additional details will have to be answered by ASIRT.
This is at a motel. Can you talk about where the victim is from?
I don't have that information.
You're saying other measures were used before the use of the firearm? Was that a stun gun, or?
Again, that will form part of the investigation, and I can't provide that information at this time.
As for the atmosphere there, guests at the hotel, can you tell us anything about what the safety was for people there?
I would suggest that as officers responded, public safety is always paramount, and we would take steps and provisions to secure the safety of everyone involved, including the subject, our officers, and the public.
Did the subject have a firearm?
That will form part of the investigation, and I cannot provide details on that.
Is he from Calgary or area?
I don't know that.
Approximate age?
Again, it would be speculation on my part. I can't answer that.
Can you talk at all about the fact that it seemed that he was in medical distress at the time too? Is there anything you can add in detail as to how he was acting or what made them believe he might be in medical distress?
Again, I feel that would be part of the investigation and best answered by ASIRT.
Do you know what's happening at the scene right now then, or in the last hour? What's going on there? I know ASIRT's investigating, but medical examiner, when you think the room might be opened up?
Specific details to the investigation, no, I don't have in relation to that. Again, as you can imagine, these are complex investigations, and we'll ensure there's a complete and thorough investigation.
When you say the man was acting strangely, is there anything else you can add to that, like specifically what he was doing that resulted in the police being called?
Other than we were dispatched to a call for service describing essentially what I said, a man agitated.
Can you elaborate any more on the fact that a result of, I'm assuming, the victim's actions, the service firearm was discharged? Like, can you describe that confrontation at all?
I would leave that for the investigation to provide in further details by ASIRT.
Was there anyone else on that floor when this happened? Guests, I mean?
I don't believe so.
Can you tell us maybe you mentioned, sorry, the timeline as to when officers arrived and when shots were heard or exchanged?
Again, the actual specific time of how this incident unfolded, I think would be best described after a complete investigation has been completed.
So the call for it was a complaint about a man behaving strangely? Was that what the initial call was?
I believe it was a dispatch complaint of check on the welfare.
Did that call come in from hotel staff or how did that come in, do you know?
I believe it was, we were dispatched to the hotel as a result of information from staff.
I apologize if you already answered this. Were there any other officers in the vicinity when this action took place?
Again, the specific number of officers involved would be part of the investigation, and I won't speak to that right now. ASIRT may be able to provide that at a later date.
And so do you guys know if next of kin's been notified at this point?
I don't know that.
Can you tell us anything about the officer at this point? How he's doing after something like this?
I think we would all expect that these are very traumatic incidents. None of us come to work thinking we're going to be involved in something like this. So specifically, I haven't spoken to the officer, but we would have whatever care available to all our officers involved. These are traumatic incidents for all of us.